and examples. Title: A Pragmatic Picture, meaning a practical and realistic outlook on the economic situation. Summary and explanation. 1. Context and challenges to India's growth. India's economy is slowing down after 4 years of strong recovery post-COVID. Stock markets are declining, the rupee is weakening, and the key economic drivers, domestic demand and public sector investment, are struggling. Private investments, money spent by companies on growth, are also weak. Example: think of a car, India's economy, that was moving smoothly after a breakdown, COVID, but now its fuel, economic drivers, is running low and it is slowing down again. 2. Investment trends. Government capital expenditure, CapEx, grew at 16% annually, household investments at 12%, but corporate investments grew only 6% despite lower tax rates. This imbalance is worrying because businesses are not investing enough in growth. Example: imagine a school where the government builds new classrooms and parents buy books, but private companies don't invest in new technology for learning. The overall progress of the school slows down. Number 3. Global challenges. The new U.S. administration is changing trade policies, which may negatively impact India's exports and foreign investments. Globalization, economic integration across countries, is declining, so India must focus on domestic factors to boost growth. Example: if a country depends too much on selling products abroad, but global demand falls, it must find ways to grow by focusing on local businesses and consumers. 4. Economic growth estimates and warnings. India's GDP growth is expected to be 6.3 to 6.8% in 2025-26, down from this year's estimated 6.4%. The Economic Survey warns that India needs at least 8% growth per year for a decade to become a developed nation by 2047. If India follows the usual approach without bold reforms, economic stagnation, no growth could happen. Example: if a company wants to become a market leader in 20 years, it must grow quickly every year. If it grows slowly, it may never reach its goal. 5. Government regulations and ease of doing business. The Economic Survey criticizes excessive regulations, saying the government should stop micromanaging businesses and build trust with citizens. It calls for fewer restrictions, fair competition, and accountability from regulators, officials who oversee businesses. Small businesses should be empowered, and economic freedom should be increased. Example: if a teacher constantly monitors every move of students and sets too many rules, creativity and productivity suffer. A balance between rules and freedom is needed. 6. Bad economic ideas and budget implications. The survey criticizes recent government policies, such as import restrictions, production-linked incentives, PLIs, and uncertain tax policies. The upcoming budget will show whether the government takes these suggestions seriously or not. Example: if a restaurant stops allowing imported ingredients and changes tax policies frequently, chefs and suppliers will struggle, leading to poor food quality and fewer customers. Key takeaways: India's economic growth is slowing, and key drivers, investment demand, are weakening. Global challenges: U.S. trade policies, declining globalization, add uncertainty. The government must focus on domestic reforms, reduce excessive regulations, and encourage private investment. The budget will reveal whether the government is ready to take bold steps or not. Would you like me to extract vocabulary? 1. 5 vocabulary words. 1. Faltering verb, meaning becoming weaker or less effective, losing strength or confidence. Synonyms: weakening, declining, wavering. Antonyms: strengthening, improving, progressing. Example: after 4 years of strong growth, India's economy is now faltering due to weak demand and slow investments. 2. Insipid, adjective, meaning lacking energy, interest, or enthusiasm, dull and uninspiring. Synonyms: uninteresting, bland, lifeless. Antonyms: exciting, dynamic, energetic. Example: private investments remain insipid, failing to contribute significantly to economic growth. 3. Upend, meaning to overturn or disrupt something completely. Synonyms: overthrow, overturn, disrupt. Antonyms: stabilize, reinforce, maintain. Example: the new U.S. administration's trade policies may upend global trade and taxation structures. 4. Stagnation, meaning a state of no growth or progress, inactivity. Synonyms: slowdown, standstill, recession. Antonyms: growth, development, progress. Example: the economic survey warns that a lack of reforms could lead to economic stagnation in India. 5. Deregulation, meaning the process of removing government controls or restrictions from an industry or sector. Synonyms: liberalization, relaxation, removal of restrictions. Antonyms: regulation, control, restriction. Example: the survey argues that without deregulation, recent economic reforms will not achieve their full potential. 3 phrasal verbs. 1. Lose ground, meaning to decline in value, strength, or position. Example: the rupee is losing ground faster than expected against the dollar. 2. Get out of the way, meaning to stop interfering and allow things to proceed naturally. Example: the survey emphasizes that the government should get out of the way of businesses by reducing unnecessary regulations. Bridge the gap, meaning to reduce the difference or misunderstanding between two groups. The government must work to bridge the gap between regulators and businesses to build trust. 3. 3 idioms, phrases. 1. Business as usual, meaning continuing in the same way without any major changes. Example: the survey warns that a business as usual approach will not help India achieve its economic aspirations. 2. Holds weight, meaning something that is important, credible, or convincing. Example: the argument to empower small businesses holds weight as it can drive economic growth. Without prejudice, meaning without bias or unfair influence, considering something objectively. Example: the budget will reveal whether the government has considered the survey's recommendations without prejudice. Key takeaways for quick learning. Vocabulary: faltering, insipid, append, stagnation, deregulation. Phrasal verbs: lose ground, get out of the way, bridge the gap. Idioms, phrases: business as usual, holds weight, without prejudice. Would you like me to test you with a few questions based on these words? 1. Direct comprehension questions. Q1. According to the passage, what are the key factors contributing to India's economic slowdown? A. Rising government capex and private investments. B. Declining stock markets, weakening rupee, and sluggish domestic demand. C. Increasing corporate outlays and improving global trade. Strengthening private sector investments. B. The passage states that stock markets are tumbling, the rupee is losing ground, and domestic demand is slowing, which are causing economic concerns. Q2. What is the estimated GDP growth rate for 2025-26 according to the economic survey? A. 5.5%, 6.0%, 0.8%, C. 7.2% 7.5%, D. 8.8%, D. 8.5%. B. The passage mentions that the economic survey predicts GDP growth will be in the range of 6.3% to 6.8% in 2025-26. Q3. What does the passage suggest is necessary for India's goal of becoming a developed nation by 2047? A. Consistent GDP growth of at least 8% per year. B. Reducing stock market volatility. Increasing government regulations. D. Maintaining business as usual policies. Answer: A. The passage states that without an 8% growth rate over at least a decade, achieving the goal of becoming a developed nation will be difficult. Vocabulary-based questions. Q4. What is the meaning of the word insipid as used in the passage? A. Enthusiastic. Lacking strength or energy. C. Extremely competitive. Highly effective. Answer: the passage describes private investments as insipid, meaning they lack energy or enthusiasm. Q5. What is the synonym of stagnation as used in the passage? A. Progress. B. Decline. C. Standstill. D. Expansion. The passage warns that a business as usual approach may lead to economic stagnation, which means a lack of growth or standstill. Q6. The passage states that India's economic momentum may slip further in the face of new A. Investments, headwinds. C. Opportunities, partnerships. Answer: the passage mentions economic momentum may slip further in the face of new headwinds, referring to challenges or obstacles. The economic survey warns that a hook approach to business could lead to economic stagnation. A. Proactive. B. Business as usual. C. Progressive. D. Aggressive. The passage explicitly states that a business as usual approach could lead to stagnation. 4. True, false, or fact-based questions. Q8. True or false? The passage suggests that private sector investments have been increasing significantly over the last 5 years. Answer false. The passage states that corporate outlays have grown only by 6%, indicating weak private investment despite tax cuts. Q9. True or false? The Economic Survey recommends increasing government control over businesses to ensure economic stability. Answer false. The passage clearly states that the survey advocates for deregulation and less government micromanagement to support businesses. 5 sentence rearrangements, beginner explanation included. Q10. Arrange the following sentences in a logical sequence. A. The economic survey warns that a business as usual approach could lead to stagnation. B. It also highlights that India's GDP growth is expected to slow down in the coming years. The survey suggests deregulation as a key measure to boost the economy. The government has been advised to step back and allow businesses to operate with fewer restrictions. Options A, B, C, D, B, A, C, D. Explanation for beginners. 1. Start with a general statement. Sentence B talks about India's slowing GDP growth, which introduces the topic. 2. Explain the impact. Sentence A warns about stagnation if things don't change. 3. Provide a solution. Sentence C suggests deregulation as a key measure. 4. Further detail the solution. Sentence D explains that the government should reduce restrictions. Key takeaways for exam practice. Direct comprehension. Focus on understanding economic terms and main ideas. Vocabulary based. Learn synonyms, antonyms of key words from the passage. Fill in the blanks. Pay attention to phrases used in the passage. True, false. Differentiate between facts in the passage versus assumptions. Parajumbles. Always start with a general idea and build towards a conclusion logically. Here are SBIPO, IBPS-PO level reading comprehension questions based on the passage you shared. Explanation of the editorial. Main idea. The editorial discusses a mid-air collision in the U.S. involving an American Airlines regional jet and a U.S. Army helicopter. This accident highlights the complexity of air traffic management in busy airports like Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport and the importance of maintaining strict safety measures. Key points with examples. 1. What happened? A Bombardier CRJ-700 jet, AA-5342, was landing at Ronald Reagan Airport. A U.S. Army Sikorsky UH-60 helicopter was also flying nearby. They collided in midair, causing a serious accident. Example: imagine a busy road where commercial buses, private cars, and military vehicles move together. If traffic signals and instructions are not followed properly, a collision is likely. Similarly, air traffic control ATC must carefully guide planes and helicopters. Why is this accident surprising? Highly monitored airspace. Reagan Airport is one of the most controlled airspaces in the world because it is close to Washington, D.C., the political capital of the U.S. The airport handles commercial flights, private jets, military aircraft, and helicopters at the same time. These different types of flights have overlapping flight paths, making air traffic management complex. Example: imagine a railway station where passenger trains, freight trains, and metro trains all operate on different tracks. If there is a miscommunication, accidents can happen. Similarly, different aircraft types require precise coordination. Possible reasons for the accident. Swiss cheese model of accident causation. The Swiss cheese model suggests that accidents happen when multiple safety failures, like holes in cheese slices, align. Possible causes of this accident. Air traffic miscommunication. ATC told the flight to pass behind the helicopter. Errors in navigation or coordination. Understaffed ATC operations, a known issue in the U.S. High traffic volume at Reagan Airport. Example, think of safety measures as layers of protection, like slices of Swiss cheese. If there are gaps, mistakes in multiple layers, an accident can happen. 4. Importance of this investigation for India. The U.S. Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, and National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB, will investigate the crash. The findings will be important for India, as some Indian airports also handle both civilian and military aircraft. Learning from this accident can help improve India's aviation safety. Example, if a major car accident happens due to a faulty traffic signal in one city, other cities can inspect their signals to prevent similar accidents. Likewise, India can improve air traffic management based on the U.S. investigation. Conclusion, this accident is a reminder that air safety must be constantly monitored. As aviation traffic grows, it is essential to have better coordination between different types of aircraft, adequate staffing in air traffic control, strict safety measures to prevent miscommunication. Would you like vocabulary words, phrasal verbs, and idioms from this passage as well? Vocabulary, phrasal verbs, and idioms from the Hindu editorial. 1. Unravel, verb, to solve, explain, or figure out something complex. Synonyms, decode, untangle, clarify. Antonyms, confuse, complicate, entangle. Example, the investigators are trying to unravel the cause of the mid-air collision. 2. Baffling, adjective, confusing or hard to understand. Synonyms, perplexing, puzzling, bewildering. Antonyms, clear, straightforward, comprehensible. Example, the accident was baffling as it occurred in a highly controlled airspace. 3. Converge, verb, to come together from different directions. Synonyms, meet, merge, intersect. Diverge, separate, disperse. Example, the flight paths of the plane and helicopter converged, leading to the collision. 4. Stringent, adjective, strict and precise, especially about rules and regulations. Synonyms, rigorous, strict, severe. Antonyms, lenient, flexible, relaxed. Example, the airport follows stringent safety measures to prevent accidents. 5. Brimming, overflowing with something, can be physical or emotional. Filled, overflowing, packed. Antonyms, empty, lacking, drained. Example, the helicopter was brimming with advanced electronic equipment. Phrasal verbs. 1. Poring over, to study or examine something carefully. Example, aviation safety experts are poring over the ATC recordings to determine the cause of the accident. 2. Pass behind, to move from one position to another behind an object. Example, the air traffic controller instructed the plane to pass behind the helicopter. 3. Flowing from, resulting from or caused by something. Example, the increase in air accidents seems to be flowing from understaffed air traffic control operations. 3. Idioms and phrases. 1. Swiss cheese model, a concept where multiple layers of defense have weaknesses, and when those weaknesses align, an accident occurs. Example, the accident might be explained using the Swiss cheese model of aviation safety failures. 2. Political heartland, a region that is highly significant in politics. Example, Washington, D.C. is considered the political heartland of the United States. 3. Unbroken vigil, constant watchfulness or monitoring. Example, the accident serves as a reminder that air safety requires unbroken vigil at all times. These words, phrases, questions, SBIPO, IBPSPO level 1. Direct comprehension questions. 1. What was the cause of the mid-air collision in the U.S.? A. Engine failure in the American Airlines flight. B. Poor weather conditions. C. Overlapping flight paths and miscommunication in ATC instructions. D. Bird strike. Answer C. Overlapping flight paths and miscommunication in ATC instructions. 2. What makes the Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport's airspace complex? A. It handles only commercial aviation. B. It has multiple overlapping flight paths involving commercial, private, and military aircraft. C. It is located near a high-altitude area. D. It has only one runway. Answer B. It has multiple overlapping flight paths involving commercial, private, and military aircraft. 3. According to the passage, what does the Swiss cheese model of accident causation imply? A. Accidents occur due to a single major failure. B. Multiple minor errors align to create a catastrophic event. C. Safety measures are always ineffective. D. The accident was intentional. B. Multiple minor errors align to create a catastrophic event. 4. What concern has been raised regarding air traffic control in the U.S.? Lack of advanced radar systems. B. Understaffed air traffic control operations. C. Poorly trained pilots. D. Inefficient aircraft maintenance. Answer: B. Understaffed air traffic control operations. 2. Vocabulary-based questions. 5. What is the meaning of poring over in the passage? A. Ignoring something. B. Studying carefully. C. Quickly glancing at something. D. Destroying information. QB. Studying carefully. 6. Which of the following is the correct synonym for baffling? A. Clear. B. Confusing. C. Predictable. D. Unimportant. Answer: B. Confusing. 7. What is the opposite of stringent as used in the passage? A. Strict. B. Rigorous. C. Lenient. D. Accurate. C. Lenient. Fill in the blanks from the passage. 8. The mid-air collision was described as a go accident in one of the most controlled portions of airspace in the world. Baffling. 9. Experts have focused on the potential for incidents to occur when the of different aviation operations converge. Answer: Borders 10. The Reagan accident is a reminder that air safety demands vigil. Answer: Unbroken. 4. True, false, or fact-based questions. 11. The FAA's International Aviation Safety Assessment IASA program oversees India as well. 12. The American Airlines flight involved in the accident was carrying over 100 passengers. False. It had 64 passengers. 13. The Swiss cheese model suggests that accidents occur due to a single major error. False. It suggests that multiple minor failures align to cause an accident. 5. Sentence rearrangement. Question: arrange the following sentences in the correct sequence to form a coherent paragraph. A. The airport operates in a complex ecosystem with overlapping flight paths for different aviation operations. B. It was a mid-air collision between an American Airlines flight and a U.S. Army helicopter. C. Experts have raised concerns about potential incidents occurring when different aviation operations converge. The accident has been described as a baffling incident in one of the most controlled airspaces in the world. Correct sequence: B, D, A, C. Explanation: B introduces the main topic, the mid-air collision, describes the significance of the accident. A explains why the airspace is complex. C presents expert concerns regarding similar incidents in the future. These questions follow the SBI PO IBPS PO exam pattern and will help you practice exam-level comprehension skills. Let me know if you need more clarification.